Good. Hey everyone, it's Ashley here from Elemental Growth. I want to introduce an awesome guest speaker that we have here. This is Sebastian Hilbert, and he's going to share with us some of his journey, his expertise, and really guide us through on living a happier, healthier life. All right. So Sebastian, do you want to give like a little intro so everybody can get a piece of who you are?
Yeah, awesome. Well, first of all, thank you so much, Ashley, for having me. It's been it's a really pleasure to be here, and love connecting with you because you're such a happy and fun person. So it's really cool doing this with you. In terms of like my contribution to living a happier and healthier life, as you like to always say, which is so lovely, is that I made it my vision and my mission to help health and wellness professionals, holistic practitioners, therapists, anyone in the alternative health industry or alternative health industry to grow and scale their business so they can make a bigger impact. I come from a tiny village in Germany where the big three, cardiovascular disease, cancer, and diabetes, are like an epidemic. And these chronic diseases, I lost friends and family from it. And when I came to Australia, I learned that they actually can do something about that. And so this whole new world opened up to me of alternative health and preventing sort of just getting it a quick fix. But I also realized that all these therapists needed that they're really good at what they do, their modality, but not so good in business. So I said, like, hey, I really can help you by helping those who are doing the right thing. So that's why I founded my business, WellPreneur.
Oh, I love it. It's so important getting those like background stories, I think too, because you really start feeling the passion of these people, and it's so inspiring. So yeah, how did you know your service was really needed in the world? How did you know that this was for you?
Really by talking to people in that area, right? So we started our first ever business. I did a study in hotel management, and then I realized I didn't want to climb the corporate ladder. It wasn't really for me. Yeah. So I spent the hard-earned money during my study time. I had about like $2,000 or something like that, Australia, and I spent all of that on a master course with an entrepreneur from the UK who came to Sydney, and I visited an event with, and he again showed me a different pathway. So that was the pathway of becoming an entrepreneur, becoming a business owner. And my partner, who's still my partner, as I like to say, in business and life, Teresa, came with me to Europe. We traveled around Europe for 4 years. We lived in Germany, Switzerland, Vienna. We ran a bed and breakfast for 9 months in France, right? And on this side, we did a little web design agency, so we just build websites for anyone. And I discovered really quickly that this is my passion. I really love doing that, but also that just building a website is not really fixing anything. And I felt like this is not really doing what I really want to help business owners with. So we developed this whole online program, which shows you how to build an effective online presence instead of just building a website. And then when we came to Australia, I really wanted to focus on it because we said we really want to make a living with it. And we need to really focus on it full time, not just travel around Europe for just doing on the side.
Right. So what really inspired you to start your own business, and how did you find your niche, that place in the market that really needed you?
Yeah. When I think back, I think it's mostly it came from talking to our current audience. After I came back from 4 years traveling around Europe with my partner Teresa, she's my partner in business and life, as I like to say. We traveled around in Europe for 4 years, lived in Germany, Switzerland, Vienna, and France. We even ran a bed and breakfast there for 9 months, and that was all wonderful. But we only decided to really focus on our business, not just doing it on the side, when we came back from that to Australia. And for those 4 years, we were simply building websites. And then we came to Australia. We said, okay, we need to change something to really make an impact. And also, when we talk to the people in the health and wellness industry, I realized really quickly that often they wanted a website, and that's what we were doing. But I realized to really make a change with them, they needed something more, right? They needed to get really clear on how to share their magic. They needed to find systems so they can automate things and really focus on what they love doing and not be a marketer or doing all the admin. And we showing them how can I get more reach to a wider audience on a global scale instead of just a website, which is often can be very expensive, but then gets lost in the digital abyss and nobody finds it. So that's when we decided, okay, I can really be of service here. I can really help here, helping them to make a bigger impact, and with that, move the world to what I like to say, sustainable wellness.
Yeah, that's powerful for sure. So what are some of your go-to resources for this right now, like automated and keeping your lifestyle like in the freedom category while you're running and scaling your business?
What do you mean by resources? Like as in where I learn?
Yeah. Maybe some books that you have, podcasts, any trainings that you've done, anything like that would be something you'd recommend.
Yeah, nice. Well, in terms of books, I have basically three categories that I read, that basically and I cycle them, and that works really well for me. First of all, I love fantasy books, right? So that's my kind of getaway, escape in a different world type of thing to rest my mind. Reading something like Lord of the Rings. So that's like my fantasy. Is my what I love doing. The next one is like self-development and business and strategy and marketing. And that's the last book I read that I highly recommend is from Sabri Subi, Sell Like Crazy. Now that needs to, I guess in the health and wellness industry, I know how we are. You're very soft and Sabri Subi is not. So you have to take that away from how he speaks in the book, but what he has put together there is really, really great if you want to take your marketing to the next level. And what I'm currently reading is Eckhart Tolle's A New Earth, which is a spiritual book. So that's the third part that I do. So I go from fantasy to marketing, business strategy, and self-development to spiritual, and then go back. So that's kind of my cycle that I really love doing in terms of books. I have a mentor. I highly recommend getting a mentor, a coach that really is in alignment with you. So not just has great skills, that's usually not even part of the equation, but for me, a mentor needs to be, or a coach needs to be in alignment with my values and how I like to run my business. So that's, I think, when he's really able or she's really will be able to create some behavioral changes for you in your business, in your life, so that can actually create some positive changes. And I just flick through any type of podcast. I'm into plant-based podcasts. My podcasts usually reflect what I read, right? So that's basically it. As my biggest education comes from books and paying mentors, basically, and coaches.
Yeah. Oh, I'm totally with you. I feel that's so important too. It's definitely been something that's helped me in all areas of my life. And I'm either working with a team of coaches in a training, or I have a mentor and a life coach or something going on.
Yeah.
And it's incredible. You know, my life coach I've been working with for almost a year now. And had this mentor in my mind that I was manifesting for like the last 3 years, and I'm finally on weekly calls with him, which is really incredible, like a dream come true. It's such powerful stuff, and I'm definitely glad that you brought that into the conversation today.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, it's so important to have someone that really fits you, and if that happens, it just makes such a massive difference.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's lighten things up a little bit. Can you tell me what's the strangest or funniest thing that you've experienced in your business?
Yeah, I was thinking about that when I read that question. What's the I I guess what this the strangest thing. My mind always slipped back into like business stuff, but I think what I noticed when it came to working with my clients is that I couldn't really understand, or what I didn't quite get at the beginning is that why everyone wanted to get more certifications and wanted to get all of these qualifications and certifications out on their website and throughout all their online presence. And I was thought like, isn't that like as if I would walk over to my ideal client, or like let's say my ideal partner, not ideal client, to my ideal partner in life, and walk over and say like, hey, look, I'm I'm German. I think I'm good looking. I have all these qualifications, and I think I can really help you to have a better life. Would you like to marry me? Right. So that's how I thought. Like when I saw all these websites and social media and all, that's what I always thought. Like this people's profile looked like. But it was always like, I can do this. I have that. I'm great. I'm awesome. Work with me. I was like, how is that ever going to work for you? So um, it took me a while to understand that this is kind of a natural thing that we do because we want to really show um, that we actually can help. But in terms of human behavior and how people tick online, and not even online, as offline as well, um, then that doesn't work. So I know I brought this back to business, but that's kind of that's for me. Like that's for me what I always thought is quite was quite strange until I understood why.
Yeah, you reminded me of when I was working with Xander Fryer and the high impact coaches. They had
Yeah.
this thing that's called the 3 steps to getting engaged. And that's what it's all about. It's like marrying your ideal client. So I just thought that that was so funny. Like I've heard it again, again. That's really saying something. So
Yeah, although I mean, I always said, you may get lucky, but and someone says yes, but it's very, very seldom, and it's probably more likely you get slapped, right?
yeah, because people, they want somebody who's experienced it, right? They want that kind of an expert. The certifications and education doesn't always matter anymore. It's the experience, the direct experience, the fact that you can resonate with somebody on the same kind of problem, that that they're what's that movie, Catch Me If You Can, where he says just be one chapter ahead. you know
Yeah,
that's what people truly want.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and that's what I get most of the feedback. It's what I also see, like often your client is yourself 1.0, as we like to say. Well, it's like a reflection of yourself a year or 2 years back, or even further, and you basically show them how they can get to where you are right now quicker as doing it on their own. And that's really kind of the basic what it comes down to. And that's what you need to show, that you can do that. And by showing how you have done it yourself and what you, because of that, have developed to show others. That's really what makes a difference, not whether or not you learned and have learned a certain strategy or have a certain certification.
Yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Yeah, it's nice to have those things in the toolbox. But I think a lot of that training, in my experience anyway, and like, I mean, I'm constantly doing different trainings and things. In my personal experience, it's more about doing it for me, having that toolbox, so I'm leveling up my own personal life, and in return, have a new experience that I can share with other people.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. And everybody has their own ways. It doesn't have to be doing trainings. It can, it's books, it's podcasts. It's like just literally going through the motions of something that's shown up in your life, whatever that obstacle or challenge may be. If you rise to the occasion, then that can turn into your message for the world.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, makes such a and I think that's probably also what authenticity is, right? So that's really, it's become a bit of a buzzword, but I think that's really when you share that, the ups and the lows, and your vulnerability and the real and raw stuff, then it's when you really come across authentic and you come closer to sharing who you truly are, and that's what people connect with, right? So that's really what connects with people.
Yeah,
And
I
engages
couldn't agree more.
them.
So what do you see is the upcoming trends for entrepreneurs right now?
Upcoming trends. I think a big thing that people talk about is the client journey. I think that's one big thing to really more and more hone into. What's that journey you need to put someone on who has no idea who you are, and you want to build that know, like, and trust, so that actually take action and buy from you or book a call with you, or whatever your process is. I think that getting really clear on what that looks like, and I think that comes all to what we just talked about, this being authentic and knowing your journey, and bringing in all this personal this experience, and how people understand who you are and what you do. So really mapping that out, and the clearer you get on that, the easier it will be for you to create that journey online or in any other shape or form, and that will make sure you get those who you really love working with. And I think that's what it was really also all about. The clearer you get on the journey, the more specific it is, the more specific the people become who go on that journey. And people who don't fit, they filter themselves out. And so what happens then is, like, the people you talk to and show your program to, or sell your services to, those are the ones who are just right. And they are fun to work with, and they're fun to talk to. And the whole sales part just becomes a lovely conversation between two people who align with each other and are like almost soulmates type of thing. I just, like, last week I had a call, clarity conversations, as we like to call it, instead of sales call. And it was just absolutely beautiful, because she was like the perfect fit, and there was no hard selling or any of that, because it's absolutely not needed. And I think that's a big thing where more and more people hone into. And with that, in my opinion, comes the second biggest trend that I see, is videos. Like, this journey you can do, or people do naturally, one-on-one, via like coffee meetings and things like that, right? So they meet people, and things happen, and they talk to each other, and they share their life story, and they share different things, and things come naturally when they're one-on-one with people. But when you then want to do that online, it becomes quite hard, or in your marketing process in general, it's much harder. And the best way to bring across that personal connection really and create that that engagement online that you would get offline is through videos, and that becomes more and more relevant everywhere you look at online.
So, is there any key activities that you'd recommend to entrepreneurs to really focus their time in on right now?
Key activities, I think it's showing up consistently through your social media. I think that's really important. Showing that you are an expert in your fields. Always continue thinking about, okay, like who is that person that I want to show as? What does that person stand for? And who does that person want to be part of their community? So get really clear on your ideal client, constantly refine that, and then bringing that out consistently on a daily basis through all your marketing channels. And start whoever you see engages with you, start engaging back and have a human-to-human conversation. But that's what I do constantly on social media on a daily basis, like chatting to people through Messenger, through LinkedIn messages, whatever it is. But I'm constantly chatting to people, like the same thing you would do when you are going to networking meetings or meeting people. Like you have just a normal human to human chat to them. And I think that those are the two key things, like show up as the person you want to be and share your values and magic consistently, and then make sure you have chats and create conversations with people.
Yeah, it's all so important. And I love the way that you added magic in there. It's something I talk a lot about. There is so much magic in this world, and a lot of it comes from that connection and bringing it back to the authenticity too, right? We crave connection, and this is a world that's being automated faster and faster and faster. And yes, being an entrepreneur, there are certain things that we want to automate to get successful and to build a more freedom lifestyle. But it also does take away some of the connections. So it's really important to find what that balance is for you, and to make sure that you're getting that connection, that you're helping other people feel that real, true connection that is magical.
Yes, love that. Love that. So true. Yeah, finding it balance. I think that's what probably most people find really hard. And I can't say that I find it easy, but it is possible. And I think there is always this thing of, on one side, it's like I really want to make the connection. On the other side, I know I need to tap into the possibilities that online. I think now, like, we're recording this now. Don't know when we're going live with the show, but with the coronavirus at the moment, lots of people in Europe, they're forced to stay at home. So I think now it's a time for people, for health and wellness practitioners, to step up and put aside a few things where they'll say, like, oh, I'm not really making the connection online, to put that actually in the side and find their way and how to make that connection, can reach people from their home to their client's home, because meeting in public right now is difficult, right? So I really hope that actually one of the things that's happening right now will enable practitioners and professionals to step up and find a different way to maybe just a session by session, setting time for money approach in a clinic or a practice, and find ways to help people in different ways on a larger scales, and find their way to make that online stuff work for them. Because I think now more than ever is the time to step up, become a better leader, and find different ways to help.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's so needed. Like it just feels like that's the natural evolution that's coming for us, you know? Beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah, and we need to, you either can put your head down and say like, no, I don't want to have anything to do with it, and basically fall behind, or you say, well, actually, this is here and this is to stay. So how can I be a part of making this tool work? Because social media is just a tool, like anything else, or websites, or like the whole online things. It's just a tool, and it's fairly recent. So we need to learn how to use it, and we can either be part of that learning process and help people to use it in a way that it's actually helpful, or we don't and leave people alone with it, although we know that it's all around us and we can't really get away from it.
So, Sebastian, who has been your greatest inspiration so far in your journey?
My greatest inspiration, it may sound a bit I don't know, corny or something, but one of my greatest inspirations is literally my partner, Teresa. She, you must imagine, the village I come from, 200 people living there, right? So 199 since I left. It's absolutely tiny, right? So coming to Australia has been mind blowing for me, and she inspired me to find myself, create my own values, to step away from all the stuff that I've been indoctrinated with from, in that small community, which has been wonderful for my childhood. But, to be part of something bigger in the world, and fulfilling my vision needed, required me to step out of that. And she's been just the most amazing supporter, and showed me so many different ways. So from that personal type of inner journey, she's been most of the most inspiring people for me. But when it comes to business, I think it's probably been Daniel Priestley from Dent now, who I did that masterclass with after my study, who showed me the world of entrepreneurship, who showed me that there's a different way to climbing the corporate ladder, because that's what I've been taught, right? So you go to school, you study, and you get a job. And I needed both of those. I finished my study in Australia as ducks of the school, and with honors, and I don't know how many industry awards. So I absolutely thrived, and it was absolutely amazing time. But that unconventional step for me back then, to do the study and then not climbing the corporate ladder, I needed to be inspired that there's a different way, and that's what Daniel Priestley did. And he still runs this key person of influence program here in Australia, if anyone wants to look, actually around the world, in the US as well, in the UK. But then to really follow through with that, I needed the support that my partner has given me, and for both, I am very, very grateful.
Yeah, that's a really good magic word too, right? Is gratitude. I mean, it's not just a word; it's definitely a state of mind, and I can feel your gratitude and how important this is. And I'm sure that that's a really important thing to point out as to why it is that you've been so successful as well. The more gratitude that you can put out into the world, the more you're going to manifest.
I agree. Yeah, it's like a secret weapon, gratitude, as I sometimes say. Whenever you have a hard time, or things maybe not going so well, tapping back into that feeling really grounds you, and gets you back on track with with things. Yeah, very, very powerful.
Okay, Sebastian. So just to wrap things up, because we're coming to the end here, I have one final question for you. If you had a magic wand, which 3 things would you change in the world today?
First thing right away, because that's one of my biggest values, and I know that it's for many people a bit controversial, but I would change every single person in the world to be on a plant-based diet. I'm a big supporter of plant-based diet, and that for me would solve a lot of problems around sustainability and hunger in the world. I think that's definitely number one thing. I would give everyone in the world a feeling of abundance. I think a lot of suffering in the world comes from people not seeing the abundance that they already have, and that lack creates want, and that lack creates how do I say that? That for me, that want creates that greedy, egoistic behavior, and these are 2 things that I probably can think of. A third thing, would probably be around sustainability. So have the knowledge in the world that we are in balance with nature, and we actually create life on Earth instead of sucking Earth dry of life, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that was so perfectly said too, I think. Yes, really powerful stuff, and I know it's going to help a lot of people. I just really want to thank you for taking your time, being here, sharing with us these personal parts of your story and just your business journey in general. You know, you're making a huge impact, and what you're doing is so beautiful, so needed. I really appreciate you spending this time with us.
My absolute pleasure. It's been fun, and it brings me a lot of joy too to be allowed to share this. Yeah, thank you very much as well.
Absolutely. Do you want to just hop on a quick video just so we can do a few waves goodbye, just in case he needs it?
Sure.
Okay, perfect. All right, so so thank you again. We'll see you again next week. Goodbye, you guys.
Goodbye, everyone. Lovely being with you.